3 I, Central Virginia, and Better Homes and Gardens built that up. They've got a large digital agency business. So.
I got a comment
Yes.
for your history with, I'm sure you kind of signed up earlier. As big and as overwhelming as social media can seem, especially when there's what I've discovered is it's not.
Speak up a bit louder, please, guys.
As big as social media can be or can feel, what I believe all about is helping a network team, but the personal relationships you can build. It's not just the exactly. It's not, any of us can have a 24/7 relationship with our computer.
Yeah.
That accomplishes probably nothing.
Well, this is back to we talked about nano markets. The big element in nano marketing is developing intimacy. And Malcolm Gladwell, who I just did a video recently, most of my blogs, and Malcolm Gladwell, and he's ticked off a lot of people, and the founders of Twitter even responded because he said, you know what, all this social networking isn't as revolutionary in school as you think, it's not as effective, and I think a lot of it is just a bunch of fluff. And I would say agree 100%. He talked about the fact that social media is 1,000 people wide and only 2 inches deep. I was there in the audience when he said that at 5. It's so correct. Is that it's not being used as a revolutionary tool. See, your next job will come from a loose connection. The next revolution that occurs is not being through a bunch of loose connections. He talked about the fact that Fidel Castro did not have a revolution through a bunch of loose connections. He had a tight group of people who, right or wrong, and I'm not going to get on one side or the other, right or wrong, were totally committed, passionate, and on board, and deep relationships and trust in him. And product revolutions, and corporate revolutions, and idea revolutions happen the same way. And so the key around nano markets is having those 1,000 connections, and then finding your top 100, and then breaking that down into 8 or 9 small groups, and getting really intimate, specific, and relevant for them. And that's how you create product revolution. That's how you create advocates. That's how things really begin to grow. And so you're absolutely right. You have, and a big way to do that is, you know what, we're connected online, but let's connect offline today in person, meet each other, share best practices. Let's, Mark Smith from Amuse Consulting, right, his big thing was on Twitter is 2 coffees a week with people he met on Twitter. And he blew his business up in a matter of a year, like astronomically. There's no magic formula, it was like consistency. A lot of the coffees, he said, not so great. You meet some strange people on Twitter. And so with that said, from that perspective, he had enough winners in there that made a big difference to the business. Great point. Are you just back to, do you find those?
I want to say thank you to Terry.
Oh, yes.
She's unbelievable, and I would say anybody that's not following her on Twitter, I'm only just overwhelmed with getting everything going. I've taken the last 6 months to build my site, to do my blog, and I'm a realtor, but I haven't been practicing, so it's very rare that you have that much time. So I've only been able to follow the one person, and I feel if I don't look on her blog, I've lost, or on her Twitter, I've lost it. And authenticity is so important. When she shared she had a root canal, it's like I just found out the same week that I had to have the same one.
It's so funny
and
too.
I haven't spoken with her, but I feel like I know her so well. We met each other again at Agent Reboot in Seattle, and if anybody has the opportunity to fly anywhere, I don't know how many realtors are here, but you just have to have the experience in Terry that would do it.
Absolutely, and I think getting back to the human element about one of the core traits of a real social media marketer is human. And I mean, today I had something really weird happen, but I look at, I tweet out stuff on hey, my book is now number 10 in the web marketing category for Kindle, and 3 people go, woohoo, and thank you, you're one of them, right? But I also tweeted earlier, this was really weird, I'm walking along, and I'm just it's like a Gerard and Dunsmuir, and this group of Japanese tourists, young and old, just lined up and started firing pictures at me. And I was just what are they doing? They're smiling and they're taking pictures, and they got in this bus and took off. I hit the wrong photography session, right? Somewhere in Japan I'm on a billboard now, right? And I can't to this figure naked. That was the other day. But the whole point was that I tweeted that, I'm like, tourists from Japan just took a bunch of pictures of me and jumped on a bus. Well, I had 12 people respond in seconds, right? So part of it is, now you say, well, what does that do with marketing? It has everything to do with marketing. It's about people really feeling like they know you, and people buy from you, whether or not even they're watching the bits and bytes. If they can identify you as a human, you've beaten your competitors.
Yeah, what's the blue up there?
Okay.
Hi, Shane. Thanks for the talk. I really like the part about collaborating with someone that's doing the end product.
Yeah.
The question is about luxury brands.
Sure.
How can they work in this space? Because I find that you can drive down luxury scale.
Yeah.
Do you have some suggestions on how they can compete in there?
You know, it's luxury brands. I think is luxury brands. You know, I think about. Depends on can you give me what specific brand? What what do you? Clothing company. Well, yeah, I think from that perspective, you know, what you're looking at from luxury brands perspective would be, again, the same strategy, but you're going to have to be a little more careful. Where I think if social media pages can be kind of raw and messy, you are going to be more careful with your brand. In other words, how you present, the photography you do, all those types of things, how it's represented, who's in the photos. You have to be a bit more cognizant of that. But still, you know, it's like saying, what's the difference between business to business and business to consumer social media? B2B or B2C? It's still P2P, person to person. See, that luxury brand lover looks to the same console that someone who likes more suits. Say it, they're using the same console, and the same principle apply. Again, it goes back to understanding your nano market. So what type of content, what type of challenges do they have? What are you answering to? Does that make sense? So in other words, you know, what is that core pain that that person is willing to drop $2,000 on a suit? Or $500 on a pair of shoes, or $3,000 on a purse, or whatever it might be. You know, what are their challenges going through their mind? Right? What solutions are they looking for? And then really answering those questions.
Is there any platforms you would be on in order to hire?
MySpace. You know, and it would be also, yeah, how you engage. I mean, you may be a Friendster, but yeah, I would look at, you know, even a Facebook page would be okay, but you couldn't just throw out a Facebook page like I did for social. I would look at some custom programming and making sure the landing page is really beautiful and making sure things are done well on it. So that attention to detail on your online imagery and on your Facebook page and how it's designed, how it's navigated, is going to impact people's thoughts on your attention to detail of your clothing, for instance. But on the other side, your response time and how direct, specific, and articulate you are with that demographic is going to be very important as well. This is off the top. We'll probably dive into some more research.
I think, okay, quick, last question.
I had someone who we actually all know quite well, the major Twitter,
Yep.
Facebook, or whatever, all never heard. He said that he's found, having done it for a long time now, the less he talks about his specific business and what he has to offer, the more business he gets. And I don't know if, actually I won't even say my name, but so I challenged him on that. He actually said that off the top, but we actually really meant that and researched that and all that.
I think there's a mix. I go back to the 90-10. 90% of the content I share on Twitter is from like people who blog about sales and marketing and people in the community, and I'm sharing content. At the end of the day, human curators are really important, more so than ever, because there's so much content out there. We're looking for experts. We'll be able to sift through the junk and find the nuggets and the truth. And that's what I kind of try to share on my Twitter stream. But on top of when I'm drinking beer, I share that too. But the whole point is that then that marketing message is in there. But I don't know, because see, it's difficult for me because I share what I do. Like what I do is I talk about successful principles and best practices. So I share those all day long. And you know, if I was talking about going to the park and walking the dog and firing jokes back and forth with you, I don't know if that would help my brand as much. So I think it depends on what you're selling as well.
Okay, we're going to keep you around for a little bit, so if you have some more questions, feel free to stop and talk to Shane. Also, I kind of want to point out that that's the reason why we're doing these meetups. Not because we're all here to sell each other our products. We're here to build relationships. That's why I started these groups. So I'm not ever going to do formal, you got to come and network, you're going to have to do draws, you're going to have to play little games. I'm not going to do that stuff. If you guys want to do that stuff, you're at the wrong group. So I'm saying we're grown-ups and we can mingle with each other, and this is your opportunity to really develop your relationship. So I'm encouraging you to do that. I'm not going to come around and hold everybody's hand. but I will take the time to get to know you. I'm really hoping that you'll stick around and network. So thank you everyone for coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.